Our next question comes from Cheated in Chesterfield. This sounds juicy. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cheated says, I own several homes with my business partner. We recently had a fight about some things, and now she has taken all of the rent monies. She has instructed our tenants to pay her directly instead of through our company. We formed this company 4 years ago, and she has all of the documents. She will not share them with me either. Now the tenants know that we have an issue, and they are refusing to make any payments to anyone. So what can I do? From Cheated in Chesterfield.
Wow, that's like a loaded question. There's like what, 3 or 4 things going on in there, Chesterfield.
Quite the soap opera.
Yeah, well, it's like a Latin soap opera, right? Um, let's just kind of work backwards real quickly. Blair, as you know, because you're a real estate investor as well. I know you don't do a lot of rentals, however, but anytime a renter sniffs some type of controversy between an owner and the city, or the owner and another party, or an owner and their partner, whatever it is, the first thing they're going to do, a lot of them will stop making payments. Okay, so that happens. That's that last question or comment that this person made. So it doesn't surprise me. But it's just one more reason why people should have their documents and their business relationships in order. So the first problem this person has, which is not terribly difficult to resolve, is that they don't have, they relied on their partner to hold on to their business documents, and they don't have copies. Now, normally, the business document that I'd be referring to, besides the corporate paperwork that's filed, or the corporate filing, is the actual operating agreement, Blair, that we talk about all the time. Every LLC, every company either has articles or bylaws in which they follow, procedures and how they operate their company, or they have an operating agreement, which is for usually a limited liability company. And again, it's just like a roadmap of how people have the relationships between the people who own the company. Okay, so this individual is missing those documents. Well, one of the ways that you can secure those documents, if you're going to try to impress upon the other party or the offending party to comply with whatever is supposed to be done, is you can use the statutory rules of the state of Michigan with regards to compliance if you can't get a copy of the operating agreement that the parties originally had signed. So you can use that as a template to kind of move forward to go after your partner. Okay, that's number 1 or 2. Then the other item that she talks about, or they talk about, is that what can they do? They're having this fight. How do they get it resolved, or how does he get or she get their portion of the money? If a attorney's demand letter, and perhaps even a complaint, is not going to get the parties to the table, then the parties need to go to court. A couple things can happen. They can ask the court to split the property, to divide the property, to dissolve the corporation and split the property, or and that's like a partition action, and everybody goes their separate ways. And they, depending on how title is held, they should be either 50-50 owners, or the company owns the property, and then the two parties are members. And if they're 50-50 members, there should be a provision there on how the property should be divided. If you can't get that agreement, then you use the Michigan statute, which will divide it. So that's how you bring people to the table. If they're not going to cooperate, and they're moving money around, or it's almost a form of embezzlement, actually. It's a form of thievery. It's theft. So it's not something you can actually go to the police for, because it's really a civil matter. So you have to file an action in circuit court. It's really unfortunate, because this is something that comes up in my office quite frequently. I mean, probably once a week. And it's either between family members, or it's between good friends who engage in, a very exciting endeavor to own real estate and be partners, and they're gonna build up a big real estate empire, and God bless them. But if they don't do it with some type of written documentation, which is called a contract, just so you know, it's a contract, and you do this contract with an attorney, okay? You don't write it on a piece of paper with, on a napkin, because even though that may hold up in court, there's a lot of provisions you might be missing. So go to an attorney and get an agreement formalized between the parties. But you've heard me say it over and over, it's the gift that keeps on giving. People shortcut the process. They don't have agreements between them in writing, or they don't delegate the proper authority as to who has what. In this situation, somebody has a document, somebody's taking the money. So it's unfortunate. You'll have to go to court if they can't work it out.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. It makes me think what's going through the other person's mind. So not cheated, but cheated's partner of, there's not really any end game there. And if it's supposed to be 50-50, then you owe 50-50 and can't really get around that just because you're frustrated. So anyway.
Right. Well, that's a whole different, by the way, Blair, that has nothing to do with the law. That has to do with emotional,
right.
Emotional intelligence, or what do they call that? Just emotional maturity. So it's a whole different ballgame.
It sure is. Well, cheated in Chesterfield, go to court, and good luck to you.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are watching, David and I sit down and we plow through a list of questions, and then he breaks them up individually and puts them on in chunks for you on YouTube. So if for some reason you are not watching this video on YouTube, go to David's YouTube channel, just type in the search engine Proven Resource or David Sobel, and his whole channel will pop up with tons of resources, tons of other questions, comments, concerns from viewers just like you, all sorts of different answers to questions regarding real estate, finance, contracts, probate, etc. Like David says, if it touches real estate, you guys handle it, right?
Right.
All right. So David,
Thank you.
if the viewer at home wants to reach out to you and get their own questions answered directly, personally, how can they reach out to you in your office?
Just 888-789-1715. It's the easiest way to get in touch with us. You can go online again to provenresource.com. We have a scheduling page. We have pop-ups to make appointments there, but we really prefer just call in. It's the easiest way to figure out, how we can help you. And that's about it. I really appreciate the time, Blair. Thank you. Yeah, it was
we
good
appreciate
session.
yours as well.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, David, and thank you to all of you who are watching, and we will see you on the next video.